More than 40% of small retail locations across major Canadian cities have reported serious financial stress in the past 2 years. Thousands of storefronts have already gone dark. And now, a name that feels almost untouchable is at the center of a storm. What if I told you that one of the most recognizable convenience chains in the country is suddenly shutting down stores, leaving communities shocked and scrambling for answers? This isn't just another business headline. This could be a warning sign of something much bigger happening beneath the surface of Canada's economy. Late-night coffee runs, emergency snack stops, that glowing red and green sign on the corner that always seemed to be there. Now imagine it gone. Lights off, doors locked, shelves empty. Why is this happening? And why now? And here's where it gets explosive. Political leaders are reacting. Economic tensions are rising. And Mark Carney is reportedly sounding the alarm over what he calls a massive structural crisis. Is this the beginning of a retail collapse no one saw coming? Stay with me, because the real story behind this shutdown is far more shocking than you think. Number 1, declining foot traffic is quietly strangling retail. For decades, convenience stores thrived on one simple advantage: location. Busy downtown corners, transit stations, office towers, places filled with constant human movement. But today, that movement has changed dramatically. Recent urban data shows that many Canadian city centers are still operating at 30 to 40% lower office occupancy compared to pre-2020 levels. Fewer commuters mean fewer coffee runs, fewer snack breaks, and fewer impulse purchases, the very lifeblood of convenience stores. Think about it. If thousands of workers no longer pass by the same storefront 5 days a week, revenue drops instantly. A business model built on high traffic and small margins cannot survive when the traffic disappears. Even a small dip in daily customers can translate into massive monthly losses. And unlike larger retailers, convenience chains rely heavily on volume, not large profit per item. What makes this even more concerning is that this shift may not be temporary. Remote and hybrid work have become the new normal. Consumer routines have permanently changed. Instead of grabbing a drink after work downtown, people are shopping closer to residential neighborhoods or skipping those small purchases entirely. So the big question becomes, if foot traffic never fully returns, can traditional 24/7 convenience stores survive in their current form? This isn't just about one company. It's about a retail system built for a world that may no longer exist. If you notice stores closing in your area, tell us your city in the comments. Let's see how widespread this really is. We put huge effort into researching and breaking down stories like this for you. So if you value real insights, hit subscribe. It's just one click, but it helps us more than you know. Number 2, rising rent is crushing profit margins. Here's something most people don't see when they walk into a convenience store: the rent bill. In major Canadian cities, commercial lease rates have surged dramatically over the past few years. In some high-traffic areas, rents have climbed by 15 to 25%, while sales in many retail sectors have either stalled or declined. That's a dangerous mismatch. Convenience stores operate on thin profit margins. We're talking pennies per item on many everyday products. When rent jumps sharply, those pennies disappear fast. And unlike luxury retailers, convenience stores can't simply double their prices. Customers would walk away instantly. The business depends on being affordable and accessible. Now imagine running a 24/7 operation. You're paying premium rent for a prime corner location, plus utilities, security, refrigeration, and maintenance all day, all night. If customer traffic slows even slightly while rent keeps climbing, the math stops working. And when the math stops working, closures begin. This is especially tough in downtown cores where landlords haven't lowered lease expectations despite reduced foot traffic. Businesses are stuck paying pre-pandemic prices in a post-pandemic world. That imbalance is forcing companies to make hard decisions, including shutting down underperforming locations before losses spiral out of control. And here's the bigger concern. If rising commercial rents continue across Canada, this won't stop at convenience stores. Smaller cafes, pharmacies, and family-owned shops could face the same pressure. The ripple effect could reshape entire neighborhoods. So ask yourself, when was the last time you noticed a for lease sign where a thriving shop once stood? Drop a comment with the last store you saw close in your area. Let's create a real-time map in the comments below. We spend hours digging into stories like this to give you clear, powerful insights, so take 1 second to subscribe. That single click keeps this channel alive. Number 3, inflation is silently changing what Canadians buy. Inflation doesn't always make loud headlines, but it quietly changes everyday behavior. Over the past few years, Canadians have watched the price of basic goods climb steadily. Groceries, fuel, utilities, almost everything costs more. And when household budgets tighten, something subtle happens. People start cutting the non-essential extras. Convenience stores rely heavily on those extras. The late-night chocolate bar, the energy drink during a busy afternoon, the quick snack at the gas station. These small impulse buys may seem minor, but together they drive a huge portion of revenue. When inflation squeezes consumers, those spontaneous purchases are often the first to go. Think about your own habits. Have you started comparing prices more carefully? Buying in bulk instead of grabbing single items? Skipping small treats because they suddenly feel overpriced? You're not alone. Many families are becoming far more intentional with their spending. Instead of convenience, they're choosing value and necessity. And here's the problem. Convenience stores are built around higher per-item pricing. Customers pay slightly more because they're paying for speed and accessibility. But when inflation pushes prices even higher, that model becomes harder to justify. Shoppers may decide to wait and buy cheaper alternatives at larger retailers. This shift doesn't look dramatic day to day. It's gradual, quiet, but over months, reduced impulse spending adds up. Lower transaction sizes, fewer add-on purchases, thinner margins. Inflation may not shut doors overnight, but it slowly weakens the foundation underneath them. Be honest, have you cut back on impulse buys this year? Tell us what changed for you in the comments. We pour serious research and effort into every video, so if you appreciate clear breakdowns like this, hit subscribe. It's 1 click, but it makes a massive difference for us. Number 4, labor shortages and rising wages are squeezing 24/7 operations. Running a convenience store isn't just about stocking shelves. It's about keeping the lights on 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. That means multiple shifts, overnight staff, security coverage, and constant supervision. And right now, staffing has become one of the biggest challenges facing retail businesses across Canada. Many provinces have increased minimum wages in recent years, which is positive for workers, but for businesses operating on razor-thin margins, it creates serious financial pressure. When wages rise, payroll expenses jump immediately. And for stores that rely on multiple employees per shift, even a small hourly increase multiplies fast. But it's not just about wages. There's also a labor shortage problem. Many retailers report difficulty finding workers willing to take overnight shifts or part-time retail positions. That forces companies to offer higher pay, bonuses, or reduced hours, all of which impact profitability. Some locations are even shortening operating hours because they simply can't staff them properly. Now imagine the math. Higher rent, higher supply costs, and now higher payroll, all while customer traffic declines. The 24/7 model that once made convenience stores powerful becomes a heavy burden. Staying open all night only works if enough customers walk through the door to justify the cost. If they don't, the business starts bleeding money quietly in the background. And when multiple locations begin facing the same issue at once, corporate headquarters has to make a tough call, restructure, or shut down. Have you noticed stores reducing hours in your area? Drop your city below. Let's compare what's happening nationwide. We put serious time and research into every breakdown, so if you value this kind of insight, hit subscribe. It's just 1 click, but it keeps this channel growing. Number 5, supply chain disruptions are draining profits behind the scenes. Most customers don't think about supply chains when they grab a bottle of water or a snack. But behind every fully stocked shelf is a complex network of trucks, warehouses, distributors, and international shipping routes. And over the past few years, that system has faced serious instability. Global shipping delays, fuel price volatility, and transportation bottlenecks have all pushed costs higher. When it costs more to move product from manufacturer to warehouse, and from warehouse to store, someone has to absorb that increase. For convenience stores, that someone is often the store itself. Unlike big box retailers that order in massive bulk quantities, convenience stores operate on smaller, more frequent shipments. That makes them especially vulnerable to fuel price spikes and delivery surcharges. Even a modest increase in logistics costs can shrink already thin margins. Then there's the issue of product shortages. When certain high-demand items are delayed or unavailable, shelves sit partially empty. And empty shelves mean missed sales. Customers who can't find what they want may simply leave, and once they break the habit of stopping by, they may not return. This creates a domino effect. Higher transportation costs, inconsistent inventory, lower customer satisfaction, reduced repeat visits. Over time, these operational headaches chip away at profitability. Supply chain disruptions might not make dramatic headlines every day, but they quietly strain the foundation of retail businesses. And when combined with rising rent, labor costs, and inflation, they become one more weight pulling stores toward closure. Have you walked into a store lately and noticed empty shelves? Tell us what product we're missing. Let's compare experiences. We invest serious time researching stories like this. So if you appreciate the effort, hit subscribe. One simple click helps us keep bringing you real, in-depth breakdowns. Number 6 big box competition is quietly pulling customers away. Here's a harsh reality. Convenience is no longer exclusive to convenience stores. Over the past decade, big box retailers have expanded aggressively, offering longer hours, wider selections, and, most importantly, lower prices. Stores like Walmart and Costco have trained customers to think in bulk and prioritize value over speed. When families are trying to stretch every dollar, buying a 24-pack of drinks at a discount warehouse feels smarter than grabbing a single bottle at a corner shop. Even grocery chains now offer extended hours and self-checkout lanes, reducing the time advantage convenience stores once had. The gap between quick and cheap has narrowed, and technology has amplified this shift. Many large retailers now offer curbside pickup and same-day services, blending affordability with accessibility. That puts enormous pressure on smaller format stores that simply can't match the purchasing power of retail giants. Think about your own habits. When prices started rising, did you begin planning bigger shopping trips instead of making small daily stops? That behavioral shift, even if it feels minor, has a major cumulative effect on convenience store revenue. The challenge is scale. Large chains negotiate better deals with suppliers, absorb temporary losses, and spread costs across thousands of locations. Smaller urban convenience outlets don't have that flexibility. If sales dip, there's less cushion to absorb the shock. Over time, consistent customer migration toward larger retailers creates a slow but steady erosion of market share. And once loyalty shifts, it's incredibly hard to win it back. Be honest, are you buying more in bulk these days? Tell us what changed your shopping habits in the comments. We dedicate real time and effort to breaking down stories like this. So if you value that work, tap subscribe. It's one click, but it fuels everything we do here. Number 7 delivery apps are replacing the late-night store run. There was a time when a midnight craving meant grabbing your keys and heading to the nearest convenience store. But today, you pull out your phone. In less than 5 minutes, groceries, snacks, drinks, even over-the-counter essentials can be delivered straight to your door. That shift may seem small, but it's transforming retail in a massive way. Delivery platforms have normalized instant gratification without leaving home. Whether it's food apps expanding into convenience items or grocery services promising rapid drop-offs, the definition of convenient has evolved. Now, convenience doesn't mean a nearby store. It means no trip at all. For traditional convenience stores, that's a serious threat. Their entire value proposition was speed and proximity. But if customers can order with a few taps and avoid traffic, cold weather, or late-night safety concerns, the motivation to physically visit a store drops significantly. Younger consumers, especially, are driving this shift. Many are comfortable paying small delivery fees in exchange for comfort and time savings. And once that habit forms, it becomes routine. Fewer spontaneous store visits, fewer add-on purchases at checkout, fewer reasons to walk through those doors. Over time, this digital migration chips away at foot traffic, the same foot traffic these stores depend on to survive. And unlike rent or wages, this challenge isn't temporary. It's tied to technological behavior change, which is often permanent. Convenience hasn't disappeared. It's just moved to your smartphone. When was the last time you chose delivery instead of going to a store? Be honest. Drop in the comments. We put serious time into uncovering trends like this for you. So if you appreciate the effort, hit subscribe. One click helps us keep delivering powerful insights straight to you. Number 8, government policies and taxes are adding extra pressure. Beyond rent, wages, and competition, there's another powerful force shaping the future of retail: government policy. Businesses don't operate in a vacuum. They operate within regulatory systems that affect everything from taxes to environmental rules, and those costs add up quickly. In recent years, Canadian businesses have faced increases in carbon pricing, payroll taxes, licensing fees, and compliance requirements. While many of these policies aim to address important national goals, they can create additional financial strain for small and mid-sized retail operations. For a convenience store already operating on tight margins, even modest regulatory cost increases can push profitability into dangerous territory. Energy costs are a major example. Convenience stores rely heavily on refrigeration units that run 24/7. If electricity rates rise due to broader policy shifts or carbon-related pricing structures, monthly utility bills climb fast. That's not optional spending. It's essential to keeping products fresh and safe. There's also the administrative burden. Compliance reporting, health regulations, employment standards. Each requires time, staffing, and often professional services. Larger corporations may absorb these costs more easily, but individual store locations feel the impact immediately. When you combine policy-driven expenses with inflation, supply chain instability, and labor costs, the pressure compounds. It's rarely one single factor that forces closures. It's a stacking effect of multiple financial weights. And that raises an important question. Are policymakers fully seeing how these layered costs affect everyday neighborhood businesses? Do you think government policies are helping or hurting small businesses right now? Share your honest opinion below. We read every comment. We invest serious effort into researching and presenting both sides clearly. So if you value balanced insights, hit subscribe. It's just one click, but it means everything to this channel. Number 9, changing consumer habits are redefining convenience. One of the most powerful forces behind this crisis isn't economic, it's behavioral. Consumer habits in Canada have been shifting quietly but dramatically over the past decade, and those shifts are reshaping what people consider truly convenient. Today's shoppers are more health conscious than ever. Many are cutting back on sugary drinks, cigarettes, and processed snacks, products that have traditionally driven strong profits for convenience stores. Instead, they're looking for fresh foods, specialty items, or curated grocery options. If a store doesn't adapt quickly to those preferences, it risks becoming irrelevant. There's also a generational shift happening. Younger consumers prioritize digital payments, mobile ordering, sustainability, and price transparency. They often research before buying, compare options instantly, and value brands that align with their lifestyle. That mindset is very different from the spontaneous grab-and-go culture that once fueled corner store success. Even daily routines have changed. More people work from home. More meals are prepared at home. Fewer commuters mean fewer morning coffee stops and fewer quick purchases between appointments. What used to be habitual buying patterns are now more intentional and planned. Convenience itself has evolved. It's no longer just about proximity. It's about speed, value, personalization, and experience. If a store doesn't meet all those expectations, customers simply look elsewhere. And here's the key. When habits change, they rarely revert back completely. Businesses that fail to anticipate those changes often struggle the most. So the real question is, have convenience stores adapted fast enough? Have your shopping habits changed in the last few years? Tell us what you buy less of and what you buy more of in the comments. We put real research and effort into every video to spark meaningful conversations like this. So if you appreciate it, hit subscribe. It's one click that helps us keep going. Number 10, corporate restructuring and strategic retrenchment. Sometimes, store closures aren't just about losses. They're about strategy. Large corporations constantly analyze performance data, market forecasts, and long-term economic signals. And when leadership sees sustained pressure across multiple locations, they don't wait for a full collapse. They restructure. This process is called strategic retrenchment. scaling back weaker locations to protect the overall brand. Instead of allowing underperforming stores to drain resources, companies consolidate operations, renegotiate leases, or exit certain markets entirely. It may look sudden from the outside, but internally, these decisions are often months, even years, in the making. Corporations evaluate metrics like revenue per square foot, labor efficiency, supply chain stability, and demographic shifts. If projections show declining profitability in specific regions, executives may choose to shut down stores proactively. The goal isn't panic, it's survival and long-term positioning. There's also a broader global context. Many international retail brands are reassessing expansion strategies, focusing on markets with stronger growth potential while trimming operations in slower or more volatile regions. In that sense, closures may reflect a calculated pivot rather than immediate crisis. However, for communities, the impact feels very real. Jobs are affected. Neighborhoods change. Familiar storefronts disappear. What looks like a spreadsheet decision at headquarters becomes a visible symbol of economic uncertainty on the street. So while headlines may frame closures as shocking, they may actually signal something deeper. A company preparing for a fundamentally different retail future. Do you think this is temporary turbulence or a long-term shift in retail? Drop your prediction in the comments. We spend hours researching and connecting the dots to bring you content like this. So have why. When you step back and connect all 10 reasons, declining foot traffic, rising rent, inflation, labor shortages, supply chain stress, big box competition, delivery apps, government policies, changing habits, and corporate restructuring, a clear pattern begins to emerge. This isn't just about one chain or one headline. It's about a retail model under pressure from every direction at once. Convenience stores were once symbols of stability. Open late, always stocked, always there when you needed them. But today, the ground beneath that model is shifting. Consumer behavior is evolving. Costs are stacking higher. Technology is rewriting expectations. And corporations are making defensive moves to protect long-term survival. The real shock isn't just store closures, it's what they represent. When everyday neighborhood businesses begin to struggle, it often signals broader economic transformation. Retail is usually one of the first sectors to reflect deeper structural change. And what we're witnessing may be part of a much larger transition in how Canadians live, shop, and spend. But here's the key takeaway. Economies adapt. Markets evolve. Businesses that innovate survive. The question now isn't whether change is happening. It's who will adapt fast enough to stay relevant. So as you walk past your local storefronts this week, pay attention. Are they busier or quieter? Thriving or struggling? Because sometimes the biggest economic stories aren't told in stock charts or political speeches. They're told in the lights that stay on or quietly turn off. And this story, it may just be beginning.